share screen to see if things are working.
Yeah, let me share my screen and see. So can you see the slides?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Yes,
visible.
we are able to see.
Perfect.
Yep, good.
Perfect. So let's wait 5 more minutes and we'll start.
Hi, I'm Jo Mithen, the Chief Executive Officer of Monash College. I'm really excited that we've partnered with Universal College Bangladesh to give local students a pathway to Monash University, one of the top 100 universities in the world. Monash College is wholly owned by Monash University, and we provide the only guaranteed pathway into Monash University for students who meet the entry requirements. We are driven by our mission of transforming students' lives and preparing the next generation of global professionals. Through innovative programs which align with the very high standards set by Monash University, we equip our students for life at university and beyond. The courses offered by UCB are exactly the same curriculum as those provided in Melbourne and through many of our partners globally. Students can study the Foundation Year program, which provides entry into all 10 faculties of the university, or a Diploma of IT, Applied Data Science, Business or Engineering, which provide corresponding entry into those programs at Monash University in second year. Whichever pathway students choose, they're working with pre-university experts who prepare them to continue their educational pathway in Australia or in Malaysia. If you're considering studying at UCB, one of the great benefits is that you'll be able to stay at home for an additional year to help you really get ready for the stresses and the pressures and the opportunity to study abroad. You'll develop new skills, receive additional support, and build friendships that you'll have for the rest of your time at Monash and beyond. So by the time you're ready to transition to university, you'll have had the best possible experience and preparation without ever having to leave Bangladesh. When you join UCB, not only will you have an outstanding student experience, you'll also become part of a worldwide family that is committed to quality education and developing the next generation of global professionals. From everyone here at Monash College, we hope you'll start your journey with UCB so we can welcome you to Monash Australia or Malaysia soon. I wish you the very best of luck with your studies, and we really do look forward to seeing you here at some time in the near future. Thank you.
Bangladesh has come far in its quest for a thriving education system. Enrollment rates are as high as 97% across 30,000 schools in the country. But this quest for education is also taking students far away from home. Over 50,000 students left for higher education abroad in just a single year. That's also approximately $1.8 billion flowing out of the country. 66% of these students moved to these 10 countries across the globe. to learn and excel at the world's best institutions and academic centres. But what if the world's best learning came home to our students? Because tomorrow's journey has already begun today.
Good morning, everyone. This is Jamaluddin Jami, Head of Enrollment at Universal College, Bangladesh, the exclusive partner of Monash College, Australia, and the only Ministry of Education approved international education provider right here in Bangladesh. I would like to have the pleasure to welcome you all to the very exclusive workshop, Monash UCB workshop, Best Scrum Tools to Increase Your Productivity. And to conduct the sessions, we do have with us today Dr. CHONG Chan Yong, Senior Lecturer, School of Information Technology, Monash University, Malaysia. Before you start our session today, I would like to answer very important questions you might have in your mind while you were watching the video we do have here. What is Universal College Bangladesh and what is its affiliation with Monash? This is the first time Ministry of Education approved international education provider here in Bangladesh with the recommendation from University Grants Commission of Bangladesh. And we do have exclusive partnership with Monash College, Australia. Under this partnership, we have been offering few programs right here in Bangladesh. What happened before? People used to go to outside to take these pathway programs. Rather, they can now stay here with their family members and start these pathway programs. The programs we have been offering, Monash University Foundation Year Program. In short, we call it MUFI. It means right after year O level, you can start your Monash University Foundation Year Program. So once you successfully complete that Foundation Year Program, that will give you 100% guaranteed entry into Monash University first year. So that's the golden opportunity we have brought for our Bangladeshi kids. Also, we have been offering Monash University first year degree equivalent programs right here in Bangladesh in business, IT, and engineering. So after your AS, A, or foundation year program, you can start your Monash University first year degree equivalent programs right here at UCB. So once you complete that 1 year program at UCB, that will give you 100% guaranteed entry into Monash University second year. We do have with us from Monash University, Malaysia, a representative. He is senior executive. He will be giving you a guideline regarding, scholarship opportunity at Monash University, Malaysia, also your entry requirement. And if you have any questions, please be in touch with us today, and you will get a pretty good idea about your scholarship as well as your enrollment eligibility. And to talk about Monash University, it's a world top 100 ranked university. What about the ranking? You just name it. You will find Monash within top 100 rank. So that's the ranking we do have. Monash University ranking we do have here. The golden opportunity we have brought for our kids that you can start that degree journey. So without much delay, let's start our workshop. Before starting our main workshop, I would like to hand over the session, a senior executive, future students program, Monash University, Malaysia, Mr. Daniel Lam. So he will be giving you a brief idea about Monash University, Malaysia and your future international education degree journey. The virtual floor is to you, Mr. Daniel Lam.
Thank you, Mr. Jamal. Thank you for the wonderful introduction of the university and myself. So without further delaying, let me just pull up my share screen in regards of the presentation. A second. Let me just pull up the full screen. Okay, wonderful. So good morning, everyone, students, parents, staff alike, fellow colleagues who is joining in today's event. My name is Daniel, representing Monash University Malaysia campus. I'm from the Future Students Office, and I will be working closely with UCB to oversee the students who will be enrolling to us once they finish their program. So without further delaying, today we will be answering a question that is eternally simple for students out there. If you're looking for an authentic Australian degree with also being cost effective at the same time, while being closer in terms of distance from your home country, generally this comes also with the fact that we are providing an uncompromised Australian education experience to everyone. We offer you Monash University Malaysia. So here are the 3 questions that I will answer to students today. Generally, we are looking into why you should select Monash University Malaysia, what are some of the courses that we offer, and last but not least is the scholarship opportunities. So first and foremost is why Monash University Malaysia. As mentioned by Mr. Jamal, we are a top ranking university in the world. We are top 100 in most of the rankings that you will be searching out there. As of 2022, according to the QS World Ranking, we are ranked 58 in the world. We are also part of the prestigious group of 8 universities, meaning we are the top 8 universities in Australia itself. So in multiple different categories as well, we are also ranked top 100 when it comes to our ranking. Moving on next is many students might not know, Monash actually has multiple footprints globally. This includes, of course, the main campuses, which is located in Melbourne, which we have 4 different campuses. We have a foreign branch campus over here in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. We also have research facilities in China, Indonesia, Italy, and India as well. Just a fun fact for everyone, the Malaysia campus is the 3rd largest campus amongst all the campuses of Monash's. So moving on next is generally what Monash Malaysia offers is that we offer a single degree. So what happens here is that our syllabus is exactly the same as the Australian campus syllabus, which means by the time you graduate, you will still receive the same certificate by Monash University. At the same time, students can also experience multiple destination study by doing inter-campus transfers by starting in Monash Malaysia and to Monash Australia later on. Study abroad experience can be in the form of exchange, which is up to 1 semester, or you can do transfers, which is up to 2 years, depending on the programs that you are planning to do. So we look forward to all the students to be part of our worldwide alumni across the world. So moving on to the second part of the question is, what are some of the courses that is offered in Monash University, Malaysia? Generally, we have 7 different schools, which includes arts and social sciences, business, engineering, information technology, pharmacy, School of Medicine and Health Sciences, and School of Science. So we have a wide variety of programs in which students can start their journey through UCB with the MAFI or the Monash College Diploma to proceed on to the relevant programs that you're planning to do in the future. Last but not least, today I'll be mentioning a bit on the High Achievers Award, which is generally the availability of scholarship that is for students from our MAFI program and the Monash College Diploma Part 2. Once you're done with your journey with UCB on the pre-university level programs and the Year 1 equivalent program, you would be able to get scholarship if you are able to score according to what we mentioned over here. So if you are scoring 89% overall average from MAFI or 80% weighted average score from the Monash College Diploma Part 2, you will be automatically offered a 5,000 ringgit Malaysia scholarship upon entry into Monash University, Malaysia. So I would not take too much of a time because today's highlight is the workshop. So feel free to get in touch with UCB or any of our partners so that you will be able to get in touch with Monash should you need further information from us. So thank you so much. I'll pass the floor back to Mr. Jamal to continue with the workshop. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel, for your wonderful information sharing. Thank you very much. Of course, our Bangladeshi students will get motivated to start their Monash University degree journey through your presentation. See, once you start your MAFI, Monash University Foundation year or Monash College Diploma, which is equivalent to Monash University first year, you will have a certain number of scholarship once you clear a certain score here at UCB. So here in Malaysia. So it's better to start your Monash University degree journey at UCB, even the extremely cost-effective ways. Also, we have been offering a scholarship based on your OAS and A-level results, 30% to 40% scholarship on tuition fee here at UCB. So see that the scholarship we have been offering. So once you start, that will help you to save significant amount of tuition fee as well as your accommodation fee once you start your journey. And that will give you 100% guaranteed entry at Monash University, Malaysia. So with that note, now we'd like to start our just most awaited workshop, best Scrum tools to increase your productivity. Of course, we are waiting for that workshop. And for the participants, for you, if you continue the workshop, at the end of the workshop, we'll be sharing a registration link. Only registered participants will be getting the certificate jointly will be provided by Monash University, Malaysia and Universal College, Bangladesh. So that's a certification. I mean, that certification will help you in future, of course, to apply for a scholarship as well as in your career. So it's important to get the certificate as well as with learning from our research person today, Dr. CHUN Yang, Senior Lecturer, School of Information Technology, Monash University, Malaysia. Without much delay, sir, the floor is yours.
All right, thanks, Mr. Jamal. Glad to have be able to give a short workshop today to these participants, students, parents. So so as mentioned by Mr. Jamal, I'm actually a senior lecturer at the School of IT, Monash University, Malaysia. So I'm just going to share some of the tools experience that, because I do understand that most of the students here are planning to start their tertiary studies. So increasing your productivity and make use of online tools, automated tools is actually very important, especially when you're moving towards to your tertiary degree. So let me just share my screen. Okay. Yep. So for today, I'm just going to share some of the tools that actually, because due to time constraint, I'm just going to share one of the tool which, in my opinion, that is pretty much useful for anyone, no matter you're students, or anyone at all, because a Scrum is actually a methodology to help increase your productivity. All right. So basically, before I share the tool, I think it's very much important for me to explain a little bit what is Scrum and how it works, and a little bit of just a bit of history about it. So in fact, Scrum is actually a process model. For those of you who are not aware, a process model, if we break down the definition of it, the process is actually a series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a particular goal. And a process model, on the other hand, is actually a model of the steps that you need to take to achieve your goal. So it is called a model mainly because in process model, we don't really emphasize on the detailed technical steps that is involved. It is more toward a high level representation of the steps to achieve our goal. So what is a process model then? Basically, a process model was invented for software development in the past, but nowadays it is widely used in any domain at all to help increase your productivity. So first of all, process model, in the past, there were no systematic process model. It's more toward a very ad hoc kind of manner. So when people want to write some code, they will just start writing it, and then they'll keep editing their code, make any changes to their code until it meets the requirement. So take for example, in the past, if someone wants to write an application to sum up two numbers, so they will just write the code. Maybe it's just a few lines of code, and then just edit it until it actually meets the requirement, and then they'll just use it. So it's nice and simple, definitely very simple. But when programming was a new discipline back in 1940s, 1950s, this is actually what most people did. It did work until a certain extent, okay? Mainly because codes gets more and more complicated. Back in 1940s and 1950s, the system are relatively small by today's standard. So in the past, the code was probably a few lines of code. A larger project could be like 100 lines of code. But nowadays, even for Microsoft Office itself, it contains more than 1 million lines of code. So this process model of just ad hocly modifying your code, making changes to your code, it doesn't scale in modern days. So developers, in the past, developers tends to be very brilliant. In the 1940s and 50s, it is usually on the people who can afford to get tertiary studies, and they have to be somehow from a well-groomed background, only then they have the opportunity to actually use computers and develop systems. So they are only the very highly motivated people that went into the field, and often people with higher degrees in mathematics or engineering, because back then computer science, it was not really a discipline. So developers, clients, and end users, they were typically the same person. So most of the time, you are writing your own code. So for some purposes, you are mathematicians, you want to improve some calculation, you want to improve some human intensive jobs, then you can write some program to automate it. Same goes for engineers. All right. So programmers will often so the programs are usually often only ever run once. So you just run it, you get your results, and that's it. You don't do anything towards on the program anymore. So there is a little need for maintenance, for configuration management, or to control different versions of software, because you only have one version. You just run it and that's it. But situation changed in 1970s because system becomes more and more complicated. We need to have some proper systematic process model. There needs to be some process to help facilitate the whole pipeline. So in 1970s, there is this idea, Waterfall Model. Some of you may have seen this diagram, similar diagram before. Basically, it's a phase-by-phase process. Starts at the requirement phase. So developers will typically try to get requirements from the stakeholders to understand what the product product is going to do. If this is a system, a web-based system to do e-commerce, okay, buy and sell stuff, then they need to know what are the requirements, how many users are going to use it, who are the users, and so on. Then people will then, software developers will then analyze what does this mean. They'll figure out, okay, based on all these requirements, what the software is going to be. Where are we going to host the system? Is it going to be a web-based system? Is it going to be a local system? And do we need a database? If we need a database, how we are going to do it? Then we are going to design the product. So we are going to draw some blueprint of the system. We are going to think about how each and every component is going to interact with each other. Only then we start coding and integrating the whole system. And once the system has been implemented, when it is delivered to the customer, you still have to do software maintenance. So when we are talking about software maintenance, it is where there could be some repair or enhancement of the system, and eventually the system might be retired from the business. So this is proposed back in 1970s, but it is actually not really realistic. A lot of times, software development is not a step-by-step process. If you look at it, the waterfall model has this assumption that all the processes will follow step-by-step in a sequential manner. But in reality, developers found that this is not actually the case, because the design might change, the requirement might change. Nowadays, let's say, for example, if we are looking at mobile apps, you have Android, you have iOS, and the operating system version change every single year, and requirements also change by a lot. So this step-by-step approach doesn't really meet the requirements from the clients anymore, because the waterfall idea is broken into very distinct phases, and these phases, they don't really overlap with each other. We can't really start implementation until requirement analysis and designs are completed. Okay, and each phases have some documentation of some sorts as the output, and there are also some activities that is not shown in the diagram, which is also equally important. So what does this mean for the waterfall process model? It is actually better than no plans at all, and it does work well for some projects. Only certain projects where you can get crystal clear requirement, and these requirements doesn't change, then waterfall process actually works. But it doesn't cope with uncertainty or changing requirements. So like I mentioned just now, requirements definitely change from time to time, and it's very rare that requirements can be guaranteed not to change throughout the software development lifecycle. So it also can be slower than ad hoc processes, because they are bottleneck in between the transition between all the phases. We have to wait for the previous phase to finish, only then we can move on to the next one. So because of this ever-changing requirement, waterfall process might not be suitable anymore. And try to think about it, like I mentioned just now, technology keeps updating. You have newer version of iOS and Android operating system every single year. You could have new hardware every single year as well, newer sensors, wearables, new technologies, and sometimes even the laws that is governing a certain domain might change as well. Also, what do I mean by that? For instance, the government might impose a more strict personal data protection legislation. In that case, all the software that contains personal information might need to change as well. And the way how tax are calculated. So if I'm developing an application, a system for e-commerce, then if there's a certain way how tax needs to be changed, the way tax has to be calculated needs to be changed, then the requirements has to be changed as well. So due to all this reason, requirements keep changing, especially for software development. So it's definitely impossible for anyone to develop a software and never change it throughout the course of the software lifetime. So what does this mean then? That's why software developers, software engineers then come up with a new way of software development design, which is called Agile software development. So Agile is basically a time-boxed iterative approach. So what do I mean by time-boxed iterative approach? Traditionally, if you are looking at Waterfall Model, which is bottom here, everything is delivered at once. So you get the requirements from the clients, then you start developing, and at the end of the day, you just deliver the whole package, the whole software to your client. But Agile, on the other hand, is slightly different. It is a time box. So let's say if we are talking about Waterfall Model, the whole duration, it can be set as, let's say, 6 months. But when we are talking about when we are talking about Agile, it can be separated into smaller time box. So this could be two months, 2 months, and 2 months. So every 2 months, a certain part of the software is delivered to the customer, and you will get the customer to examine the current deliverables and get their feedback and try to fine-tune it, enhance it throughout the whole iterative life cycle. So this is what Agile is all about. And then now coming back to the main important topic of today's workshop, what is Scrum then? Scrum is actually a technique, a software development technique built on top of the Agile software development concept. Okay, so there are different Agile methods, and Scrum is one of them. So it is an iterative, incremental framework for the projects and products or application development. So in fact, Scrum is not a programming method at all. So it can be used in any domain. It can be used in marketing. It can be used in banking, a fashion industry, any kind of industry which requires a systematic process to facilitate the whole process. You can actually use Scrum. So I'll explain to you why Scrum can be used not only for programming, but also for other applications as well, and how learning Scrum can help improve your productivity as a student, no matter you are an IT student, a business student, or any domain at all. It is also a way to organize group of people to deliver something. So this is Scrum in one big picture. It might be a bit daunting, but I'll try to break down different parts of Scrum over here. So there are a few main characters with different responsibility. You have a product owner, who usually are the client of the project. So if we are talking about software development, definitely they could be the client who engage you to develop software. If you are, let's say, from a marketing department trying to use Scrum, then your product owner, again, then they can be your client, they can be your end users, and it really depends on the context. Then you have the Scrum member teams. So if we are talking about software development, then this will be the developers who will be developing a software, who will be testing a software, and will be designing a software, and so on. And you have the Scrum Master. Scrum Master work as a facilitator to be a middle person to actually facilitate communication between your clients and also your team member. So the Scrum Master will be the main person to actually negotiate deadlines, negotiate different kind of expectation in between the clients and also the team member. We also have other stakeholders as well. Stakeholders are usually people who come up with ideas. They might not 100% engage with the project, but they could be the one that actually give ideas and requirements to the project. So when we start using Scrum, we typically will have some project vision. So if I were to use again an e-commerce website again, so our project vision could be a one single statement saying that at the end of the project, we are going to deliver an e-commerce website deployed in Bangladesh that deals with let's say IT related products that sells and buy IT related products. Okay, so we have a big project vision. And then we have epic stories. So these epic stories are actually big features. Like for example, I could say that one of the epic story could be allowing seller to sell their products. Another epic story could be allowing buyers to browse the products. So this epic story will then be broken down into smaller chunk of features, smaller chunk of responsibility, which can be assigned to different team members over here. So usually we start with something big first, only then we think about, can we actually break it down smaller to be more manageable, something that can be allocate or assign to different team members. So we are going to then sit down, discuss, do some planning meetings. And during the planning meeting, this is where everyone will volunteer. Let's say I'm more confident with developing the product catalog. I have a lot of experience, or if I have experience doing graphical design, so I'm more comfortable with that, then I'll volunteer and say, okay, I would like to work on this particular user story. Okay, then during the planning, we're also going to decide how long is this duration going to be. So like I said previously, we can actually break it down into different time box, and this time box can be decided, is it going to be 1 month, is it going to be 2 months, and how many iterations are we going to have? So from during the planning, then we are going to plan that, okay, each sprint, so each cycle is going to be, let's say, 1 month long. And how many sprints are we going to have? Let's say we are going to have 3 sprints. So in every sprint, we are going to have different ceremonies. I'm not going to go in detail because we only have very limited time today. I'm not going to go into the detail what are all these ceremonies, but the important ones is that there will be some daily stand-up meeting. So daily Scrum, what the daily stand-up meeting works is like each and every team member, they are going to stand up and discuss what I have done yesterday, and is there any problem that I face? If there's any problem, I'll discuss with all the team members, and I will mention what are the things that I'll be doing today and tomorrow. So every single person in the Scrum team is going to take turn and mention what they are, the things that I mentioned just now, what they have done yesterday, what the problem they face, and what they are going to do today. So this, why are we doing this? Is because when you're working in a team, it's very important for you to understand what your other team members are doing at the moment. And if there's any problem they face, you can actually volunteer and help out as well. This is especially useful, especially when you are in universities. You could be working on group projects, and these group projects, you can't just work alone. You might need to get help from team members. And being a supportive team members, if your other teammates are also facing some issues, you definitely need to approach them, ask them what are the problem they face, can you actually offer help? And it's also very important for you to understand what is the progress of your teammate. So if I will take another example, you are now working, you are studying at Monash Malaysia, and you're working on a particular group assignment, and this group assignments needs everyone to contribute, let's say, 2 pages of report on a certain topic. If you don't know what the teammates progress, you might be scrambling, you might not be able to deliver your final assignments by the deadline if your teammates are not pulling their weight. So having this kind of daily Scrum, not only just for software development, but in your university life, when you're working on group assignment, group project, this actually can help as well. So at the end of the sprint, let's say we set one sprint as, let's say, a 1 month long. At the end of this 1 month, we are going to have a sprint review meeting. During the sprint review meeting, we are then going to discuss, okay, what actually went well. in this sprint? What didn't went well? How can we improve? And is there any features or any things that we didn't really complete in this sprint? Things that we have planned to done in this particular sprint, but we didn't meet the expectation. How can we fix the particular issue? So this iteration is going to repeat for a few rounds, of course, depending on each and every project. Finally, we are going to complete the project and deliver it to the customer. So this is what Scrum is. It is not just a software development methodology. Like I said, it can be used in any domain at all. And I would actually strongly recommend students when you are studying in universities, you can also somehow practice Scrum to help improve your productivity. So how can you do that? I'm going to show some examples. This is a typical Scrum board. Okay, so a Scrum board usually consists of several columns. Of course, there are different ways to design your Scrum board. This is just one of them. So say, for example, on the left-hand side, these are backlog items, things that you haven't completed yet or no one have actually started it yet. Okay, then these are the to-do lists. Okay, these are to-do lists are features or responsibility that has already been assigned to someone else. Like for example, you can use different color code to decide that this is the responsibility of Nick, this is the blue color is the responsibility of Nadim, and so on. And if there are some high priority responsibility, you can actually flag it as well. So these are the to-do that has already been assigned, and these are the in-progress features that has there is currently someone has already working on it, and things that need to be reviewed, needs to be QA here means quality assurance, needs to be checked by someone else, and things that has already done. So you can actually very easily construct this particular table when you are working on assignments, right? Imagine that you are studying in Monash Malaysia and you are taking 4 subjects in one semester. So different subjects, you have different assignment deadlines and so on, and different tasks that you need to do. By creating this board, okay, and you can put it, let's say, near to your desk every day when you wake up in the morning. You can see this particular board. What are the things that you haven't done yet? You're still on backlog. What are the things that to do? Things that you have already assigned to your teammates, things that you assigned to yourself but you haven't completed yet, or things that is in progress. So by viewing this board every single morning, you'll be pretty aware of what you need to, what are the things that need to do for today, so that it sort of like push you as well, giving you some idea what are the things that need to do. So I'm just going to quickly, I think I don't have much time left, but I'm just going to very quickly talk about the different role of Scrum. So Scrum Master, they are not the same traditional project manager. The biggest difference is that Scrum Master in the Scrum actually helps the team to come to some consensus rather than making decision and issuing commands. So the project managers, traditional project managers, usually they just make their own decision. They'll say that, okay, if we want to have sprint, I will decide, let's set 3 months, or even they can say 2 weeks, 2-week sprint, and we only need 1 sprint. Traditional project managers, they are the big bosses. They are the one who make decision, and all their underlings, all their members who have to accept it. Okay, but in Scrum, they don't really make decision. What they do is they help reach a consensus. They typically ask all the members, okay, what do you think? What is our capabilities? How can we decide on the amount of time that we need to run 1 sprint, and so on and so forth? So Scrum Master is actually taking a role of a facilitator, and usually we call a servant leadership. So they don't really issue commands. They are not the one that make big decision. They are actually the one who help facilitate whole processes. Okay, so what do we mean by servant leadership? So leadership and organization are services that the Scrum Master provides to the project. So they actually help support decision of the team. They are the one who communicate information in between the Scrum members and the product owner. Okay, so this is what we mean by servant leadership. And also they help organize different activities, they prepare documentation, they help teams to understand what other members are working and how it can actually impact the progress of the team members. Okay, so yeah, they typically do facilitation, make sure that everyone's voice is heard, stimulate discussion if it flags, and prevent discussion from degenerating into arguments, and help teams to achieve some form of consensus rather than making all the decision. So this is the role of Scrum Master. So I would like to emphasize again, Scrum is actually more than just software development. There are a lot more things rather than software development here. Like I said, if you want, you can design your own Scrum board, stick it to the wall every day when you wake up. You can see what are the things that you need to do for today, what are the things that is a highest priority, what are the things that you have done. If you actually list it down, you can feel some sense of fulfillment when you see that there are a lot of sticky notes in the column of done. So at the end of every month, you can see that, okay, for this month, I've actually done so many tasks. So it helps you to build your self-confidence as well. So incorporating Scrum into your daily life to improve your productivity. So these are some of the advice I would like to give to students. First of all, you can just use a very simple whiteboard to visualize your goal or your task list. Like I said, list down and use a sticky note to list down what are the to-dos, what are your goals. Like for example, this is an example of a personal Scrum board. Okay, a personal one. You can list down what are your personal goals, and in order to achieve this goal, what are the to-dos, and in order to achieve this goal, what are the things that you are still doing at the moment, and have you completed those tasks? So this is going to be pretty useful for a student, not only when you are doing your individual assignments, but also your group assignments as well. You can also set up your own personal goal, right? For example, one of the goals is just pick a very big goal over here, graduate from Monash Malaysia, or try to think about what are your personal goal 2 or 3 years down the road, okay? And split big or complicated tasks into smaller, manageable chunks. So the smaller, actually smaller tasks are usually easy to tackle, more manageable. If you have very big tasks, chances is that you will just keep stuck in the in progress column and it doesn't move to the next one. So if you can split the task into smaller one, it will look less daunting, and the more likely you're going to start and complete them. And the more tasks that you complete, the better you feel and the easier it becomes. Like I said, it actually provides some sense of fulfillment when you see that there are a lot of tasks that is completed in the final column over here. And the last one, to prioritize your tasks. Like I said, you can actually prioritize what are the tasks, so you can assign some priority. So you can, by having the Scrum board, you can also prioritize your tasks for you to understand what are the things that is the most important. You can label your tasks with high, medium, low, or any symbols, any forms that you think that can help highlight the importance of these tasks. And when you have a lot of tasks or tasks sitting in front of you, it can be overwhelming for you to decide what are the tasks should I actually start first. So if you can prioritize them, it's easier for you to choose. Okay, so going back to the topic of today's talk, but the best Scrum tool to increase your productivity, to be honest, is actually pretty subjective and it depends on your need. There's different factors that you need to consider. What the cost? Do you need to integrate with other productivity tools, for example, Gmail, GitHub, Microsoft Teams, Slacks, and other tools? Is it for single usage or for collaborative usage? Do you need some form of data analytics? And well, for me today, I'm just going to very quickly share my personal favorite, which is Trello. And most importantly, is actually free for basic users. So Jamal, how much time do I have?
Our session will continue till 12, so still you do have 5 more minutes. So after that, we'll take questions. Okay, sure. So let me just very quickly reshare my screen again. Okay, so this is the Scrum tool that I'll actually recommend to students. So this is called Trello. You can, if you have a Gmail account, you can just register for one for free.
a lot of my students are also using Trello to keep track of their assignments, keep track of their responsibility, and also allows me to very easily identify who are the students that actually contribute more than average and who are the students that is actually slacking. So give you an example. You can see on the left-hand side, there are different boards. These are actually real use case. These are some of the boards that my students are using in previous semester or in current semester. So let me choose just simply one of them. So you can see that this is a group project where different students, they assign different priority. So they could have different color. Yellow means in progress. Blue color means it requires some review. Green color means that it has completed, and you can assign different people to the different tasks that you want to. So they divide into 3 sprints, and in each and every sprint, there are different cards, different boxes over here that outlines what is this task about. You can write more detailed description about all these tasks and so on. And some other example, I can show you some other examples as well. Let's say now I want to create a new board. Okay, so totally new project. So you can just go to home, you create a new workspace, test demo, and you can choose a workspace. What is this workspace for? If you're working in engineering or IT, you're a small business, for marketing, for education, let's say for education, okay? So you can do your lesson planning, or if it's this for teaching, I mean, this is for teachers, lecturers, but for lesson planning, you can have, let's say you want to learn a new language, okay? So I want to learn a new language. So this is a template that you can use. So you can put down your to-do list. What are things that you want to do? You're going to pick up a new language. You want to listen to radio broadcasts in that particular language. What are things that you're doing at the moment? Okay, you can establish your own schedule. You can use put in picture, URLs, and so on, and things that you have done. Where let's say you have already picked up a new language to learn, which is Italian, and you have already buy a dictionary book, and things that you have done so far. So all these things, it can be, it depends on how you want to do it and the level of complexity, or whether this is for individual purposes or this is for group project. So let me show you an example of a group project which will benefit you, especially when you're studying in Monash Malaysia. So let's say this one. Oh, sorry. Engineer IT. Let's say this one. Okay. So for this example, we have different people. You can imagine that these are different students working on the assignment. Then you have a product owner. You have a client. Then you can use different color code to represent different meaning. So red color could be something that is very emergency, you need to do as soon as possible, and so on and so forth. So what are things that is in progress? So let's say this particular task is assigned to this member, okay? And what is the plan? You can then type out what is the plan that you want to do, okay, in bullet point, and things that you have done for phase 1, things in phase 2 that you are still doing, things in phase 3, and so on and so forth. And if there's any challenges, any problems that you face, you can just list down over here. Why? This is so that when other members who are also trying to look at what is your current progress, when they click into it, they can easily see, okay, there are still a lot of problems that you're facing. This particular feature is actually blocked. Why it is blocked, for what reason, they can actually trace, okay? And this is actually going to be very helpful, especially for university students like all of you, to provide a more systematic way to organize your work. Because trust me, when you start your tertiary studies, it is not as straightforward as your secondary school. In secondary school, everything is designed, prepared well for you. You just have to follow the lessons. Every hour, you just attend the class and then just do all your homework and so on. In university, this is totally different. You have to, time management is very, very important. So by using these kind of tools, it actually helps you to be a more systematic person. You can be someone that is more conscious about planning, time management, and so on. Okay, so I think this is basically the the tool that I would like to recommend to students. And since it is, first of all, it is free, and it can also be integrated with Gmail as well. You can set up some alerts, and you can set up some calendar as well, so that this calendar can sync back to your Google Calendar. So if you frequently use Google Calendar, it will pop up and show you, okay, you have some pending things to do. You can set some reminders, and you can set some email reminders as well. So there are a lot of things for you to explore, and you can try different templates depending on your needs. There are templates for, like I said, for individual ones. There are templates for group assignments and so on and so forth. But if you are going to study IT related subjects at Monash Malaysia, I'm pretty sure sometime during your university life, you're definitely going to use Trello to help boost your productivity. Okay, so I think that's all for my sharing today. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks for your attention. I'll glad to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chong. We can see a lot of questions basically came to my window, and people, if you have any questions, you may also write over here. So we'll be happy to answer all of your questions. Now, let me read out the questions one by one. Number one, what are the differences mainly among XP, Agile method with the Scrum?
So the differences is actually the way how, depending on the complexity of the project, XP is actually what we call extreme programming, and it focus more toward writing software, so focus more towards software development. Whereas Scrum, like I mentioned just now, it can be used in different domain, like I said, marketing, for education, for anything at all. So there are definitely some technical details in terms of the differences in between the two, but most of the time, different kind of agile methods, they are well suited for different kind of domain, different use case, and so on.
Wow, great. Please share your personal number cannot be shared. Does retirement on waterfall model represent the same things as deployment?
Retirement in waterfall model actually means company might actually discard this software. They might just replace it with something new. So it's actually not the same with deployment. Deployment is where you just deploy the software, but retirement means that you don't use the software anymore. You retire the software and replace it with a new one. Yeah.
Okay. No question. I can see one question. Basically, it is regarding the admission. Yes, after O level, you can start Monash University foundation year. So once you finish that 1 year foundation year program, after that you can start your university medicine program. Yes. And no more question. If you have any question, you may ask. You may write. I'll be happy to answer. That's great. If you are done with the registration, you will receive the certificate. Please do register if you haven't yet. Based on your given information, basically your certificates will be issued. And also, this is, it is a great opportunity for our Bangladeshi kids to start Monash University degree journey right here in Dhaka while staying with their family members. So I would like to have the pleasure to invite all of you to visit our campus. And also those are the parents. You can send your kids to Malaysia after UCB degree. Once they are there, it's easy to visit because it's only 3 hours journey from Dhaka. So easily you can go visit and spend your time with the kids. I think we do not have any more questions. So thank you, Dr. Chong, for your wonderful time and wonderful session.
Thank you, thank you, Jamal. Thanks for inviting me to give this talk.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Daniel, thank you for being here. And those were the participants. You were aware of that on a regular basis, we do organize UCB Monash joint workshop. So certifications are usually given jointly with Monash College Australia, Monash University Malaysia, or Monash University Australia. So today it was organized in collaboration with Monash University Malaysia. So resource persons and everyone is from Monash University Malaysia. They're convenient for you to journey to start Monash University degree journey. So we are formally done. Thank you very much everyone for joining us. And I would like to have the pleasure again to invite you to visit our campus. It is wonderful, wonderful campus. Whenever any alumni of Monash University visited our campus, they say, wow. I mean, the first impression of them was like, wow, it's a mini Monash right here in Dhaka. I mean, the little mini Monash here in Dhaka. So I'd like to have the pleasure to invite you to go there. And also we do have competent counselors. They will be assessing your eligibility as well as eligibility for scholarship. So happy to help you regarding your higher education journey. With that note, we are done for today. Thank you. Thank you very much. So bye-bye, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Chong, again, and Mr. Daniel for your time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.